the snap's going to be very, very easy, right? So again, it's not just a matter of trying these techniques when they're in this position. It's a matter of putting them in these positions and flowing straight into the technique. So again, resting 101 would be if I wanted Placido to posture, I would try to snap him. And when he postures up, we get our shot. The same is true for the front head snap, right? If I want Placido's posture lower and I want his shoulders and head forward of his hips, a great way to do that would be to make him think I'm going for a shot. And he pulls his leg back. He can't pull his leg back and keep good posture. And that allows me to, instead, the hand that reached for the leg, to now grab the back of the head. And we can get our snaps. So again, just like we would use a snap to set up a shot, we can use a shot to set up a snap. So again, let's say we make contact with the rear hand. And now we've got some distance management, right? I can level change, reach for the knee, and then we can grab the head and cause that snap. So again, we're not waiting for them necessarily to be in the position to do these moves. We're using fakes to put them in these positions to flow straight into the techniques we're looking for. All right, guys, we're going to talk about how to do an underhook snap now, but really, we should cover just some basic ways to get to the underhook. So let's take a look at 3 simple ways that I like to get to the underhook, right? The first one would be off a basic grip bike. So I'm going to be taking a thumb down grip. So we're going to look at the Placido's hands here. I'm going to take a thumb down grip on the wrist, right? We're going to pummel our elbow inside of Placido's elbow. Now it's impossible for him to win the race here to prevent me securing an underhook, right? So we can do that off both hands. Thumb down. That's going to turn his elbow out and give me space to get my elbow in, and we can take our underhook here. And in terms of underhook positioning, I'm just catching a low grip in front of the shoulder here. But it's a real simple way. We're hand fighting. I turn my thumb down and it takes Placido's elbow away from his body. It's not as simple as me reaching through here. I've got to make space to pummel that elbow inside. And we can secure our underhook. Another really simple way is off of their collar tie, right? So whenever Placido takes a collar tie, I can actually pummel my elbow inside and secure our own underhook. This works great when we both have our own collar tie here, whether we're head to head or head to shoulder. And we're gonna pummel our elbow inside. So I usually take a grip on their elbow and I throw my elbow inside and then run into them here, right? So we've got an elbow grip, I pummel mine inside, and then I throw my elbow high. So a great person to watch hit this successfully in competition would be Yazdani. So he typically will do it to set up knee tap takedowns. So elbow inside, takes an underhook, and he runs fast. But for us here, we're just using it as a means to secure the underhook. The third way to get an underhook would be off a defended sweep single, right? So we connect it up. I pull Placido's lead leg close to me. I circle and secure the single. And as I'm trying to pick up his leg, he pulls me up. But of course, that's going to give me the underhook here. Again, if he didn't use his overhook to pull my body up, I would pull his leg up, right? So as he pulls me up, I lose the leg, but I secure the underhook here. So again, 3 really basic ways to get to the underhook. Let's look at them all again. Wrist control, thumb down, turn that elbow wide, pummel your own elbow inside, and step through to take the underhook. When they take a collar tie, we can throw our elbow in and take our own underhook. Or we shoot a sweep single and they pull us up. So that's going to give us our underhook here. So again, guys, 3 simple ways to secure the underhook before we get into the underhook head snap. All right, guys, so we'll talk about the basic underhook snap here, right? So we've covered how to get to the underhook. So now we're going to look at how to use the underhook to get to the front head, right? So let's say we've got our underhook position here. So you can see I'm not too deep. I'm obviously not too shallow. That's going to give me a strong whizzer. I'm just cupping in front of the shoulder here. And a good detail for the underhook is obviously we want good head positioning here. I don't want to give Placido good head positioning because he's going to have an ability to dig his own underhook much easier here. If I keep good head positioning, it's easy for me to control this side and block the wrist. So how do we use this to get to the underhook? So how do we use the underhook to get to the front head? That's with a circular motion, right? It's going to be very tough for me here to snap Placido in a linear way, and that's directly into me. But I can use the underhook. So we'll demonstrate without the grip on the head first, just to show you the circular motion. And sometimes you can hit this without control over the head. The technique just has to be perfect, right? So I'm pulling Placido in front, trying to pull his shoulders in front of his hips here. So when I use the underhook, I'm pulling him forward. But you see how he catches up. He relines himself up here to keep his posture good. As I pull him forward, I circle, and it decreases his ability to keep his hips forward. So when I pull him forward, his upper body comes forward, and he squares it back up by walking forward. But if we pull him forward and around, it's tough to keep getting your hips back underneath to adjust your posture, right? So we'll look at from this side. So again, I'm pulling Placido, so Placido doesn't react here. I pull his shoulders in front of his head to start generating the snap. But of course, when we do that, he walks in and walks his hips back forward. So we have to create a circular motion. And I'm basically pumping that underhook. I pull him forward and around, until of course he's forced to post his hands to the floor. If he doesn't post his hands to the floor, Placido's going to go flying. So he has to create stability. And then we can use a collar tie as a guide. And instead of your typical collar tie, I'm going a reverse collar tie here. So I'm posting and keeping weight on the back of his head. So we pull him forward and around. And then we can immediately secure our front head position. But this hand, I don't want you to think of it as a typical collar tie where we're pulling. It's just guiding him. So we're guiding him in a circular motion. So we'll do one to see what would happen if Placido refused to post his hands on the floor. And then we'll do one where you realistically see what a typical response is. So if Placido is so crazy that he won't concede for stability, he's gonna fall right over here, right? But if Placido realizes his danger, he posts on the mat, we're gonna get the front head every time. So remember, if you're training with beginners, the first time they're probably gonna go flying. But don't assume that's how most of them are gonna go. Most of the time, guy's gonna sense danger, he's gonna post a hand on the floor and invite the front headlock position. We're gonna cover how we use the Russian to get to the front head. But first, obviously, you're gonna be asking, what is a Russian? A Russian is a Russian tie. It's a type of tie-up that's very popular in Eastern Europe, right? I'll demonstrate what it is and then I'll show how we get there, right? So your basic Russian tie is going to be palm up wrist control, followed by a deep inside grip here, and basically shoulder to shoulder pressure. We have control over them here because we're basically behind the elbow. We can pull downwards pressure, we can pull them back into us here, but it's a tough control for Placido to beat here. And we do have the ability, the Placido can't really use his head to fight here. He can't turn that in. We can stay behind here. So this is your grip. How do we get to this grip? Typically speaking, it's easiest off a collar tie. So when Placido grabs the collar tie, I'm going to be reaching inside, looking to grab the wrist, and throwing my shoulder down to clear that grip. So when we combine those two, it gives us this Russian tie grip here, which again is very difficult for Placido to fight against. So your basic drill to learn how to do this would be Placido can just go side to side. And we can just keep going to it. Sometimes as well, a good drill is a common defense Placido has here is to post on my head. And he starts trying to make distance and retract his arm. But we can switch to the other arm off this and keep maintaining those Russian ties, right? So you've got your really strong control from the Russian tie and a couple of basic drills to either get it or maintain it. But again, with your partner, just be throwing collar ties. We're pummeling and we're clearing it with our shoulder, grabbing a grip close to the armpit here. If they frame on your head here and they start making distance, we can come over the top, grab the wrist, and re-secure the Russian on the other side. What can we do from the Russian? We do have a lot of options off of these basic grips, right? So let's look at a basic foot sweep here. If Placido stands too close, I could potentially lift this and knock him over. But generally speaking, he's going to be very, very aware of that, right? But we can use that foot sweep in combination with a front head entry, right? So Placido, it's going to be hard for me to pull Placido to the floor here because he's going to keep his shoulders above his hips. But to defend a foot sweep, he needs to take a step back. And now we've broken his posture, and it's going to be easier to drive him to the floor here and secure our front head grips, right? So it's one of those moves that it is in a way a fake move because really it's not going to work, but it's going to cause a reaction to give us a much more high percentage move. So we come through, I start to fake this foot sweep, he steps out, I throw him to the floor, and I enter my front.